You know I don't like to talk. I got gum in my mouth. So what's up? It's a Friday. This one is going to be called 30 Minutes on Friday. Did I want to call it that? Fun with Friday, fuck it Fridays, fantastic Fridays. Anyway, I'm at the gym, and today is my last day at the gym because I officially start working next week. I got my schedule Monday through Friday. They told me it was going to be a part-time job, but those are like full-time hours. Well, not really. It's almost full-time. I think 40 hours is full-time. So I'm excited on the one hand because now finally I'll be working. I'll be teaching kids. So kind of be like what I was doing in Japan. Kind of get some normalcy, routine back in my life. But no more Zumba. So the plan today is when I first started Zumba, and I sent her an email just saying, hey, my name is Matt, came from Japan, my mom died, I'm doing Zumba to kind of just take my mind off of it. And then she's like, well, thanks for joining, and I hope, she said, I hope one day you come, because I hide in the back. She's like, I hope you come up to the front and dance right next to me. I ain't ever doing that shit. But since today's the last day, after I do my elliptical, and when class starts, I'm gonna stand up in the front of the class and I'm gonna, enjoy the last day. So yeah, that's exciting. I did start working at Giant, the supermarket, and because originally I thought, and I'm pretty sure I heard this, but it is what it is. I thought that my teaching job would be like 2 or 3 days a week, part-time, right? And then I could work at the supermarket doing night shift or whatever. But my plan, because, the reason I'm home, right, is because my dad lives alone in the house. So I'm here to, just whatever. But circumstances are as they are where, I gotta do this. So I was concerned that, I'm gonna be out the house 8 to 3, plus, I gotta leave earlier and coming back traffic. So it could be like 7 to 4. But, yeah, So I told my dad my concerns, and he's just like, which pays better, the supermarket or teaching? I said teaching. He's like, then you got to give up the supermarket, because either I'd be sleeping with the supermarket job because it's a night job, and so that's that. I feel bad because now I gotta go to because I called up the teaching job and I'm like, hey, this is the situation, and she didn't say it, but you could hear in her voice like, motherfucker, we just put all that paid training on you, and we already got the school situated, we did all that shit, and now you're just going to leave? She didn't say that, but you could hear her, well, why don't you try this, and how about you? And I get where she's coming from. Giant, I did like 5 hours of training. And I did work one day on Wednesday, and my back didn't agree with the job. Because, you're putting you take up a pallet of pasta sauce. One bottle, whatever, but a whole 10-pack. It's pretty heavy. You take it off the pallet and you put it on the floor, and then you're doing this motion, and then you got to get on the floor and pull the things from the back. It's not hard work, but it's not fun. I mean, it seems like once you know what you're doing, because I was shadowing some guy, right? But once you know what you're doing, you just do it, get the job done. I saw some other people with headphones, so I'm thinking, all right, I could listen to music, write lyrics as I'm doing this. But yeah, it just won't fit. So yeah, so I feel bad that I have to go there, and I could do option A, just don't show up. And if I do that long enough, they're like, oh, I guess he quit. Option B, I can make a phone call yeah. Or option C, I can go to the guy's face and say, listen, this is the situation. So I'm gonna put it out there. What do you think I should do? Option A, No call, no show. Just whatever. It's not my problem. Option B, do a phone call like, hey, this is the situation. Or option C, face to face, and just tell them as I'm handing back. They gave me a hat, not this hat, but a giant hat. So I am considering that. Also, I start work on Monday, so I'm thinking of going to work tonight because it's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But I would have to quit on Sunday because I want to be well rested for the first day on Monday. So put in the comments what you think I should do. And what else? So I guess that's the good thing. Oh, I found a new barber, right? So I didn't want to go to where I usually go because barber talk is, typical urban barbers. I don't know about salons and other ones, but you go in there, everyone's like talking about whatever the TV's on, and watch the movie Barbershop. It's like that. And growing up, it was a black barber talking about black people stuff, but now all the barbershops on my street are like Spanish barbershops. I mean, anyone can go to any shop, but it's Spanish, so it's reggaeton playing in the background and them talking about whatever. Which, again, I don't care. I just want to get a haircut. When I was in Japan, I would go to this Nigerian guy because he was the only barbershop to go to. So I went there, and it'd be the same situation, but everything is there's a Nigerian TV show playing, and they're arguing over something, and I'm just sitting there, just want to get my cut. But so yeah, so I didn't want to go there because it's weird. The vibe was weird. Not that I care for barbershops in general. Like, usually when I go to one, I'm just chilling. I'm not participating in, yeah, Jay-Z's the best rapper of all times. I mean, maybe he is, maybe he's not. I'm just saying. But anyway, so I always pass this other barbershop on my walks. So I went to that one. They closed at 6. I got there at 5:50. I'm like, he's like, hey, what's going on? I'm like, can I get a cut? He's like, we're closed. No, you're not closed. You close at 6 o'clock. So he's like, you want to come back tomorrow? I'm like, yeah. They open at 9, and I'm going to the gym at 8. So whatever. So then I was going to walk back to the other one. I didn't want to, but then I remember there's because I said there's a barbershop next to a barbershop where I'm good old Easton. So I go to the other one, and I'm like, can you cut my hair? And they're just like, yeah, but you're gonna have to wait. It's like, no problem, I got time. So I take out my iPhone, which was dying because I didn't charge it. Because Wednesday I went to Giant and I did my overnight job, so I didn't charge my phone. Then after work, I went to my therapist in the morning, and I did all this stuff. Then I took a nap, and apparently I didn't charge my phone. So now as I'm sitting in the barbershop, my phone is like on the red, but whatever. And I started to watch She-Hulk. And yeah, they did Bruce dirty, man. Like, I get what they're doing. Well, I feel like I get what they're doing, but it just seems like, it's a way to expand the empire, get more money, get more viewers. So you gotta change the characters around. Because, for example, like Seinfeld, a lot of people watch it, but in my house we watched WB, we watched the Wayne Brothers, we watched Moesha, like programming for us, Fubu, for us, by us, but it wasn't really for us because I'm sure they had a multicultural writing staff and all that. But you get what I'm saying. Like, it had our faces, our situations, Boondocks, like that whole thing. So Marvel's doing that. Like, I just finished watching Miss Marvel, and everyone was Middle Eastern, Pakistan, Indian, which was cool. Because I'm rambling like I do, but remember, I'm 41, right? growing up, when you would watch the cartoons, if you're watching the Jetsons, the Flintstones, there was no black characters, which the writers are sitting there, okay, we're going to make a cartoon about back in the day, prehistoric times. Someone's like, should we add any other ethnicities? Hell to the no, fuck all them. They might have not have said that, but it was a clear decision that this whole pre-era time, there was no black people, Latin people, Indian people, any other type of person, just a Flintstone thing. And then now you jump to the future, we're in Jetsons. Dun, 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 dun. And again, there's no black characters, but it was kind of like, yeah, we had no other choice. We're gonna watch what's coming on. But I think Peanuts would have been the first. Don't quote me now, but Peanuts, dun 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 dun. They had every ethnicity, and I think they're even pushing gender, because Sally, she was kind of butch, kind of less feminine. So I think they had a character for every archetype of people, which was groundbreaking, right? So Marvel classically has been like, superhero stuff. So Superman, white guy, his girlfriend, white lady, and he saves people, but he's never I correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't remember any episodes, at least on TV. Comics you could go all the way through, but where he was like, and he hears someone being mauled to death by a jaguar, or he hears that someone is trying to occupy some territory in some foreign country, and he flies over there. Never really happened, because it wouldn't appeal to the readers who are reading it. Black Panther, when the movie came out, I saw people crying, putting on African clothes and watching the movie 5 times because they just felt, yes, we have. So whatever Marvel's doing, I think maybe after the Black Panther thing, someone's like, yeah, let's do this, and we could, or maybe they had this plan way, I don't know all that, but my point is, which I kind of got off. Oh no, I'm back, right? So She-Hulk, I don't think it was written for me. And what happened to Bruce, I mean, it's cringy for me to watch it. Like, it's funny. The same with Miss Marvel. It's what it is. What it is. I mean, when I was in Japan and Black Panther came out, right? I was in a teacher's room with other teachers, and this young Jewish guy, who he was born in America, like he's young, he's 20 something, 21, 23, and he said something like, "My people have had it the worst of all people in existence." Now, maybe if he believes that, whatever, that's what he believes. But he hasn't. Like, he's way after the fact. So that's kind of his mindset. So when Black Panther came out, he's like, yeah, what they did to... And then he stopped. He looked, there was 2 other black people. So he looked over and he saw that maybe we're going to have an issue. I would have, whatever. So he's like, I'm not going to watch it. And the Peele, David Peele, Orange Peele, Jordan Peele, Get Out just came out, and I think within the same time, and he's like, yeah, like he's gonna be, I'm not trying to talk about people, but he had very strong views that shows that are specifically for one ethnic group are bad. But so yeah, She-Hulk, it is different. But luckily the episodes are like 30 minutes. I could get in and get out. Now, mind you, I don't watch Power or Empire or those type of things either. Or where the stories around drug dealer family. I don't care for any of that, because that's just me. But anyway, so I'm watching said all that, just say that's what I was watching at the time. And this random dude was, he's, random people talking. I guess he was like a Caucasian guy. And he's just telling about how he was out somewhere and his ex-girlfriend saw him and she smacked him on the butt. And the guy's like, "What you do?" And he's like, "I looked at her and I said," and he said, "What did you do?" And he said, "I looked at her," and she's like, "What? You got a problem with that?" And then he said, "Yeah, you gained 50 pounds. And then everyone's like, "Oh!" And I even stopped the movie to, okay, let's see where this is going. And then he's just like, "Yeah, I told her you're different now, and get out my face." And this is where Barbara, and I told her to get out my face. And da. So like, oh, okay. But it was just funny because, and then so I go back to watching She-Hulk, and I'm just like, but whatever, I'm gonna watch the whole thing. And then he leaves. I guess he got his haircut, so he leaves. And he's like, he's gonna get beer for everyone, the barbers. I have my headphones on, and he like, hey, and I take them off. He's like, you want a beer? I'm like, what? And all the years of being inside a barber shop, the Nigerian barber shop in Japan, the Spanish ones that I'm going to since I've been home, or back in the day, the black ones that are down the street, no one's ever left there and asked random person, let alone they know me, "Hey, yeah, I'm going to the store, you want to get me something?" So I'm like, all right, this is my barber shop. So then finally the guy calls me, "All right, come." And I go in the chair. He's like, "All right, what do you want?" I'm like, "Can you shave my head?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Do you want the razor or do you want the..." I'm like, "Can you do the razor?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I nicked you." I was like, "That's okay." And then as he's there, he's like, "Can I ask you, where you from?" I'm like, "I was born and raised in Easton, but I lived in Japan." He's like, "Oh, okay." And then he's just like asking me questions. So it's Japan, like, what are the girls like? You got kids, like just some organic. He just wants to know who is this random new person sitting in his chair. And I'm just telling him, and then it comes time to shave, like, the thing. And back in the day, at least in the black barbers, they had, and please let me know if this changed, they used to have the pictures with all the different haircuts, and I just go in there, number 1, and he just pium. But now there's no pictures on the wall. So it's like, "What do you want?" And I'm like, "I don't know, just and he's like, "Do you want a 3 or a 2 or a 1? I don't know. No one's ever asked me." So he's like, "All right, I'll give you a 3. And he goes like, "Okay, not a 3. I'll give you a 2. He's like, "Okay, it's not." I was like, "I'll take a 1. He's like, "All right, it does a 1. But this isn't it either. I don't know what it is. I'm gonna have to look at my old pictures. But each step of the way, he's like, I'm learning how to get the haircut I want. Like, maybe I want to get one of those Malasha Abalala, the new Asha, Blade, the new guy who's going to be the Blade. He has that pencil type, the Hitler mustache kind of thing. So I was thinking maybe about, but and then afterwards, I pay the man. I wanted to give him a tip. Usually I just, "What is it? Here you go." I was like, here's a little bit extra. And it's like a kind of, you have to make a reservation. So every 2 weeks or 3 weeks, just bum, bum, bam, bam, boom, bada, bop, if you know what I'm talking. But yeah, so now I got a nice little spot right down the street. And they weren't even playing music. Maybe they do play music, but it was just a kind of chill barbershop. So, yeah. Anything else? So there's some family drama in my family at this moment. And it is annoying because it's one of those... wars are started over some small things, right? Maybe someone flew their plane over a certain territory. Maybe someone, it's just little small things, and they kind of escalate. And, the Council of War Generals are like, "All right, we need to do this." And then there's a reason. In a room full of war generals, there's one general who'll be like, we need to think of the future of the plan. We need to think of the casualties and the damage control. And I've never been in one of these rooms, but you could imagine, right? So in my brain, this war council is going on. It's like, I want blood. I want retribution. But then luckily, and this is what it is about for me reading all these books. It plants seeds of reason and it plants seeds of different ways of thinking, So then my programming, the way my former habit kicks in. All right, I'm going to, and then the rest just kind of, now, wait, think this through, breathe. Because I read a book on how not to argue. I read a book on how to communicate. And people make fun of me about reading these books. I don't read them because I generally like it. I read them because, it'd be like, someone who has issues. Like, let's say they made a movie about it. If you had anger issues, eventually your job or whatever, they're going to mandate, or the courts would mandate you go to anger management control. And in that class, some person who either wrote the books or reading from the books, he's going to say, you shouldn't do this. And I mean, in The Hawk, it was actually in that. So after, no spoilers, whatever. But after she started, the way he cut himself and the blood dripped into her blood, a little bit of gamma ray, and boom, She-Hulk. What if Hulk is having sex, right? He's having sex. And he's having sex with a virgin, right? So sometimes when you have sex with a virgin, there's some blood, right? Or maybe she's on a period, whatever, there's blood. And there's a small little cut, and as he's hulking out, then there'd be a transfer of fluids, a little bit of gamma ray, and if he was irresponsible, he'd be having all these little Hulk babies, and he would be on Maury, and then there'd be like all these women lined up, or 1 or 3, whatever. They're just like, Maury, that's my baby, and then he's like, that's not my baby. Look at him, and then the baby would have like a green ear or something. He's like, look at the ear, it's green. He's like, that's not my kid. You be sleeping around, and it would be funny. Anyway, but yeah, so I read all these books and they kind of but it's hard because in the moment you want to react. I want to react. But then it's just like whatever. And yeah, so this past 2 weeks. I mean, this whole summer, if you've been watching The Life and Times of Matthew, this whole summer was just fucked. But the past 2 weeks kind of explain the whole summer. And I'm not going to get into it because, me, same old MB, sitting in front of the LA Fit. Anyway, so, yeah, so, and it's hard. So YouTube pops up. It says, I got a claim. Messi Pro, you have a music claim on. It is so annoying because I literally would have to go back through every video. There's like 600 videos on the other channel, and either delete the videos where I'm using music, which, I was freestyling over instrumentals the first part of it. But they already took away my my paid. I don't make any more money from them. They took away the pennies. So it is what it is. But yeah, so it's been really tough, challenging. And I don't have a big circle of people that I could talk to about this. And this way that I do it, like there's no way I could tell you my problem without going all the way back and giving you, like, if you just said, yeah, one day there was a group of people and then they got on a boat and came to America. And there were some other people there, and then the other people kind of disappeared, and that's America. You would be missing out the key points of why they left in the first place and what happened. I mean, basically how they teach us in school. But they did make sure when they taught us in school that they were being taxed and they had. So I can't tell the story in such a detail in a public format like this. Plus, I don't. Anyway. But for people who are not in my family or know anyone or know me, it wouldn't matter. You know, it's just like, oh, that's so bad. Oh. But, you know, that does nothing. It doesn't change anything. But, so I've been dealing with that. And, like, I was, watching Miss Marvel. There's a scene where she just got her power. She's hiding it from her mom. Her mom wants her to be a good girl, and she sneaks out and blah, 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 blah. That's my new blah, 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 blah. And then her mom finds out, and the first thing her mom said, and her brother and her dad and her family's just like, we support you. We got your back. And I'm just sitting there and I'm all like, what? That's how I felt, you know, like, because there's, you know, some families, like Blackish, that's, I don't know, my dad leaves it on or it comes on and I watch that. I mean, it's a show, but just that kind of dynamic. Like, some families, if you have an issue, there's Switzerland type places, neutral grounds where everyone can say their piece. So a little 5-year-old's like, I don't want to eat my peas. And then everyone, why don't you want to eat your peas? Because they're yucky. And then cue the background music. Well, listen, I know you don't want to eat this, but it's good for you. And these are the da-da-da-da-does and da-da-da-da-does and da-da-da-da-does. And look, I'm eating it too. And Grandpa's eating it too. And listen, we don't have to eat green peas every day. We can try different fruits and different vegetables. And at the end of that, he's like, okay. He's going to grow up, he or she's going to grow up to have this kind of balanced, yeah, we do disagree. And yeah, I don't understand what you're saying, but I'm sure we could find an amicable way to come. I never had that in my house. It's just, this is my house, so do as I say. Or, like, I only got like 3 minutes, but no one in my household wanted me to do music. I was doing it, but it's just kind of like, what are you doing with your life, P-Rabbit? Going to Temple or going to college, nobody wanted me to go to college. There was no preparation. There was no, so sit down. But, you know, I'm going to go to college, so I went. When I went to Japan, nobody was saying, great job, da-da-da. It was kind of, why are you going to go to Japan? Da-da-da-da-da. Living out in Japan, when are you going to come back home? For what reason? I'm doing my thing out here. Look, I got my Ichiban. I'm having the best, it's not the best time, but I'm living my life. And on and on, everything, all these ideas. Just last 2 weeks ago, my aunt, which I don't even know what she looks like. I think I met her a couple times, but she just recently started calling because, you know, mom died and she's checking up on me. But in the conversation, so what are you doing with your life, Matthew? You need to get a job and get a stable this and do this and do. And I'm just like, calm down. Slow that up. And she was doing this all throughout the summer, but now I'm just kind of, I respect what you got to say, but I'm not going to be doing that. But you know, Mom, but Mom would want you to say that. Well, if Mom were to say that to me, I would have told her the same thing too. I got my idea. But and it's and I you know, we don't choose our family. Technically, we don't choose our friends. Friends are usually the people who live in your area. You don't choose your gym. There's only one gym here, and there's a gym over there. There's 2 gyms close by. You know, that's where it is. All right, so I'm down to the last minute. But yeah, so long story short, or we did our 30 minutes. It sucked the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and it was a cap of summer. Hopefully it dies down. I don't know. I got a job. Hooray! I gotta stop going to the gym. Sorrow. I'm still here. I'll still be doing these. And I hope everyone is doing great. Check out She-Hulk. Oh, man, it is so weird. And, yeah. Actually, I always put extra 30 seconds, so let me... So I finished the book for Duke Ellington.